Welcome to Synthaholic Games. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is...
I'm doing my part.
Are you still doing your part?
I'm still doing my part.
I hope so.
I'm Brian. I'm not doing my part anymore. I'm not killing any bugs.
Yeah, you didn't do your part last time. That's the...
No, I wasn't killing any bugs. No bug killing. But we're here to talk about video game stuff that we kind of find interesting or, wanted to talk about. Nothing actually serious, except if you want it to be serious, we can pretend to be serious, or we could just be legitimately serious. You want to be serious about this? We could like fold our arms and talk like we're at like a James Bond table or whatever, and we're all very serious, and we only talk about serious topics, like the Game Awards 2024 winners,
like castration.
Oh, I don't want to talk. I don't want that. Doesn't sound fun.
That's serious though.
That is serious. That is serious. We're gonna have to bring out the whips.
We're gonna have to bring out the clamps.
Oh, I don't know. Like, are we torturing somebody? Like, what's the deal here?
I mean, it's serious business. I'm just trying to come up with something serious.
It sounds like you're from Gotham.
Yeah. See. All right.
You are the Penguin.
One day I'll be the Penguin. But
is that what you want to be?
No, not really.
Okay, I'm just making sure, man.
No. Well, as far as the Game Awards go, it's been a hot minute since we've been
on time. We are on time.
We're totally
scheduled
timely.
Perfectly. I think we're over a month late, but
well over a month late.
I don't know about well over a month. Wasn't it just like December 15th or something like that? The Game Awards was.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, it's more.
It's not like we're 8 months late. It's not like we're talking about. You know what we should do? We should start talking about like the 2024 Game Awards winners when the Game Awards 2025 is happening.
Oh, wait, okay. I guess we'll shut down this article then.
It's like fully be a whole year behind. It'll be a good memory for everybody. But you wanted to talk about the Game Awards, David. I can also participate in that conversation. Is there anything off the top of your mind that you wanted to specifically bring up?
Mostly, I'm just so very happy that Elden Ring did not win Game of the Year for an expansion. That was like, I was so upset that it was like even nominated because it is an expansion and not like an actual game. So I'm so happy that it didn't win. Astrobot won Game of the Year, and I haven't played it, but I got it for Kaylee, my wife, for Christmas. So I'll probably get around to playing it one day.
I have played it.
Is it good?
It's good.
Is it Game of the Year worthy?
No.
You're saying it's not better than Black Wukong Myth?
I did enjoy I actually enjoyed Balatro, Black Myth. Oh, you're gonna hate me for this one. Elden Ring. I actually enjoyed all of them more than Astrobot, except Final Fantasy because I didn't play that. And I'm in the middle of playing Metaphor ReFantazio, but I think that game couldn't win because it was too long and people didn't have enough time to finish it.
Yeah, it came out right before the Game Awards.
Yeah, I don't know if for Game of the Year, if I was the one picking it, with my current knowledge, I think I would have picked Black Myth Wukong. It's probably the one I would have picked. It's a little like advertising. It was a great game, fantastic platformer. Single player kind of sucks, but like tons of Easter eggs, and it just felt like a Sony love letter. It was cool.
I mean, that's kind of how I thought about Stellar Blade, but I would probably have to give Satisfactory since it was its release year. That's probably my actual Game of the Year.
I was only going with. Yeah, but what about the list? Would you put Final Fantasy Rebirth? Because I know you played that. Would you put that above?
On the list, I would have picked Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but I wouldn't have picked that as my actual Game of the Year. Okay. I would have put Stellar Blade and Satisfactory above it.
Sure. That makes sense. Well, I will say, before we move on from the Game Awards, because we just wanted to cover that Elden Ring was nominated for multiple things. It didn't actually win anything. So
thank goodness.
Good job publicity wise for the Game Awards. They got some for that, even though it turns out that became nothing. But the only thing I wanted to bring up, actually two things. One, the Game Award. I watched the Game Awards this year. I know you didn't. I thought this was the best show they've ever done. I really enjoyed the show. I didn't even notice that I watched it for like 3 hours or however long it was. It was engaging and I enjoyed it a lot. And the Muppets really like roasted like the Game Awards and made fun of like really topical things that fans were making fun of. But
I think the only clip I watched of the actual Game Awards was Sven's speech when he.
that's where I'm going right now.
That's the only part of the Game Awards I actually watched. I mean, I watched some of the trailers, but I mean, like of like the actual show, I didn't watch anything because the previous year's Game Awards was just like a marathon of boredom, so I didn't want to give it support.
This one was really good. But as you and I both are big fans of Sven and his wonderful company that he owns 51% of.
Larian!
Yeah, he had a great speech and pretty much just like dunked on the entire
roasted
industry.
the entire game industry. It was beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss.
The Oracle told me what the game of the year 2025 will be. It will be a game that respects its players, that makes a good story, that it's easy to think about, hard to do. Whatever he said. It was great, fantastic. We love you, Sven. Wear your suit of armor next time. Yeah, I think it's funny.
Yeah, that was.
Other than that, I think that's all we really wanted to bring up about the Game Awards. It's kind of old news at this point, but we're not really ever topical when we talk about video game stuff.
I mean,
so
it depends. I mean, this is a little bit more topical. Speaking of topical, the Switch 2 has been announced. Who knew there was going to be the Switch 2?
Finally, this console has been like super leaked for like the past like 3 months. There's been like exactly what this thing looks like online. Like there's people that have like it hands on. There was a Reddit post where a guy made a post saying like, "Hey, I have a Switch 2 in my hands. You guys got any questions?" People were asking questions. He answered them, and then the mods of that subreddit were like, "Yeah, we don't believe this guy. Show us proof." And the guy like sent proof that he did have like a working Switch 2 with him. So it's a pretty leaked console. It's nice that Nintendo finally has decided to grace us with a CAD drawing of it flying around on a trailer and no other information.
And the saddest thing about it is that they're not even releasing any more information until April, even though it's been one of the most leaked consoles.
What they're doing. I know people are concerned that they're worried about that little clip thing at the end. I have zero concern about that. Nintendo, it's not like Nintendo.
I've been seeing memes of people like having to you're gonna have to blow on it so the controller will connect, right? Because
that's probably they're bringing it back like how it used to be. But like Nintendo's been doing this for like 35 years. I'm sure they tested it. It was the same thing with the kickstand. And on the Switch 1, the Joy-Cons have that little plastic rail. People were worried about the plastic rail, and that ended up not being a problem either. So I don't think this will be a problem again.
Well, the plastic, I don't think the plastic rail was ever worrisome, and the kickstand. I mean, for me personally,
I'm saying overall. I remember reading articles about the Joy-Con rail and the kickstand both being failure points, and none of them really became a problem.
I mean, the kickstand is a failure point, but it just snaps right back on really easy. I mean, it's a really, really bad kickstand. It was like...
I mean, they did improve it. They did, for the OLED version, it is an improved kickstand. It's now that, like, U shape, which is the same as what they showed for the Switch 2.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, because I feel like it was an afterthought. Like, I feel like they thought about it at the very end. Like, oh, we got to make this thing stand up because you take the controller's off. So you can prop it up some way. I feel like it was a super last-minute, like... adjustment they did. That's what it feels like. I think the way they snap on, it's with a magnet, which is kind of cool, but like the fact that they've got those like small little like
nubs
with the contacts on it, that feels a little more sketchy as far as like a potential fit.
I believe Nintendo has it figured out. I don't see how they wouldn't think of that. There's just no way.
I mean, there's no way. I mean, they could be thinking that. It's like, that way, it gets broken. That way, you get it by a new console.
Or it could be. I think it's. I don't know, man. I just don't think it'll be a problem. It's either like reinforced on something. I don't know. We'll have to wait. We're all just speculating because they didn't show us anything about this console, other than like, here's what it looks like. And based on that, I'm going to assume the screen's a little bigger, the battery's a little better, that's maybe the quality of it's a little bit better, the internals are a little bit more powerful, and that's the Switch 2. And that's all they needed to do.
I mean, my biggest disappointment for the Switch 2 is the fact that they didn't make the Joy-Cons more regular controller shaped. like where
That's why you
you
get the Pro Controller.
where you've got the. Oh, I like the Joy Cons being separate, not connected. I like that a lot. I just want it to be more ergonomic. The fact that the buttons and the joysticks are directly above each other isn't really how your thumbs move
Yeah.
comfortably or naturally. Like on a regular controller where they're at like a 45-degree angle from each other, that is a comfortable thumb movement. I really wish though they would have made the Joy-Cons wider and so it feels like a regular controller. That's so disappointing that it's basically the exact same design, just bigger. I'm like, oh, well, that's boring.
I mean, this is Nintendo. Have you seen any of their other controllers?
Yeah,
The Nintendo 64
the regular controllers are shaped like regular controllers, more or less.
All their controllers have always been wacky and weird. They're not like the standard like PS4, PS5,
their
Xbox
Pro controller
unless
is.
you get the Pro controller.
Well, give me Pro Joy-Cons that are shaped like a regular controller. It's just split in half.
Make it too big. It makes the Switch too big, man.
I don't know.
Then you can't put it in your pocket.
Well, this one's not going to fit in your pocket. It's so much bigger than the old Switch, and the old Switch didn't fit in your pocket. I don't know.
I had cargo pants. It'll fit in my pockets.
I mean, the Switch Lite probably fit in people's pockets, but
yeah. Well, it's coming out sometime in. I don't. Is it coming out in April, or are they showing more in April?
I don't think there's an actual release date. They're just like official news comes out in April. I think they'll probably give like specs and stuff like that.
All right. Well, we'll have. I'm pretty sure the specs are already out, but we'll just have to wait till
Nintendo will say what the specs are for sure.
Nintendo will officially say it, but we'll have what those specs are. Probably not already.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right, David. Yakuza. You're a fan of Yakuza.
Yeah, I love me some Yakuza, and we got a new Yakuza game coming out, and RGG did a Yakuza Direct last week, or this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. I am
ready to have like a Yakuza Direct,
like a Dragon Direct. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it doesn't either way. It just felt like they're dedicating like a direct to just like this series.
this game. I'm so pumped. I'm a little over halfway through Yakuza 0. I've beaten Yakuza 7. Very much looking forward to playing Yakuza 8 so I can jump into the pirate Yakuza game after Yakuza 8. This has just been a blast of a series. Like I can't recommend the Yakuza games enough. Granted, I've only played 2 of them, but they're just so bonkers and off the wall, and they're so weird and silly and serious at the same time. It's tonally bonkers, but it's so good. I don't know.
Yeah, from what I've played of Yakuza, they're good.
I
or like a Dragon, they're good.
And on Steam, like almost all of them are like overwhelmingly positive, or at least very positive.
Yeah,
like
people just unanimously just pretty much like those games overall, just because they're so wacky.
Yeah, I love them. I absolutely love them. I'm looking forward to Pirate Yakuza. Majima, like after playing Yakuza 0, Majima is now like probably my favorite character, with Ichiban coming in second.
Wait, in video games?
Oh, in the Yakuza.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, holy cow. Some high praise over there.
Yeah, Majima is like the best video game character ever made. Look at him. Hey. He's crazy.
He's a crazy man. Yeah, Yakuza. Fun.
Yeah, and then let's see what our next article is. So Sony, apparently they canceled an unannounced live service God of War game. Why would they even announce this? Like what? It's like maybe you should have.
The way you said that was just like, what is going on here?
So
it looks like Concord really messed them up. Concord really messed Sony up. I'm thank God they didn't go through with making a God of War live service game. Holy cow, man, that would have been awful.
I mean, this is something you cancel and like bury and don't let anyone know that this was a thing anyone was working on, especially after Concord. Like if they didn't have Concord, I can see them like saying, "Oh yeah, we canceled this, God of War live service game." But like after the disgrace of Concord, just saying this out loud and or people finding out about this has got to be so embarrassing that they were even thinking about something this dumb.
Well, I don't know. I just thought there's not too much to say about it other than like thank God that it's not happening and like oh my God, what was Sony thinking? Yeah, just Good. It's good. This is good news. This is
Yeah,
good news that
this
this
is
happened.
absolutely good news that this is
This is
canceled and
good.
not happening because
Yeah.
live service needs to go down a fire because Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Is officially dead now. It is support is the life support has finally been pulled.
Yep.
That lasted way longer than I thought it was going to.
Well, they had to. They had to deliver on the like pre-order stuff or whatever when people pre-ordered.
Man,
Now they're done.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That
Well,
the game was on life support this long, even though they had to fulfill those like. I mean,
they had to. Yeah, they had to. They'll get sued. You can't just buy something and then not give it to people.
it's just like what it will cost less in the long run. Keeping developing the game, I guess. Oh my gosh, that's just insane. Live
Yeah.
service. I mean, it works for a couple games, but
Well,
every
then
single game cannot be live service. It's just not how people's lives and money work.
yeah, no, it's not how. I mean, the thing is, if you get a popular live service game going, the amount of money it gives you is like it's worth the risk. Obviously, otherwise companies wouldn't do that because some of these live service games, I mean, Fortnite is probably the top example right now of a live service game where if you can hit what Fortnite did, you'll be making like $1 billion a month on it, literally.
But you have to do something new. You can't just like keep trying to copy
Yeah.
Fortnite and expect it to be good. Because the thing is, when you copy something, no one wants to play it because it's just a worse version of what they already have.
Yeah,
Like,
it's what happened to Marvel Rivals just came out and it's gonna kill Overwatch. Overwatch is like it was down like 80% of players
well, you
because they
see,
went over to Rivals.
because Marvel Rivals did it right. I mean, like
Yeah.
Overwatch 2, they shot themselves in the foot. So
Multiple times. They shot themselves with a bazooka.
Well, that's the thing. So Overwatch has been able to be replaced because Overwatch has been cannibalizing itself since Overwatch 2 came out. Every decision they've made with Overwatch.
Dare I say before Overwatch 2 came out?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, because the concept of Overwatch 2 was just detrimental to Overwatch as a property. So I mean,
We're making
they've been
Overwatch
going.
2 for I mean, it just hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
it's
no,
so
go
it
ahead.
gets me fired up when they're like, we have to make Overwatch 2 so we can give the PvE content because the Overwatch 1 can't do it. So Overwatch 2 comes out and then they're like, we're canceling the PvE content. Is like, oh my. And then all that changed was like the characters got a new skin to say it was like, oh, this is what their redesign looks like when it's just a new skin, and that was it. And there's a microtransaction shop now. It's like that's what Overwatch to God, man.
Well, and then they took out one of the tanks, which made the game way less fun to play.
I think they added it back.
I know they've added it back as like as an extra mode. I don't know if it's like by default.
No, I don't think it's an extra mode anymore. I think
It's
it's
by
just
default?
like they straight up switched it back.
It should be because I mean like that was one of the worst decisions. I mean, adding the cash up is an awful
I don't know.
decision.
I feel like there was more worse decisions than taking away a tank.
I mean, it made the game like near unplayable. Like some of the tanks needed another tank to even work properly.
I would rather have only one tank and not a microtransaction shop.
Well, the microtransaction shop was awful, but that's also like 90% of the reason they made Overwatch 2 was for the microtransaction shop to get away from the loot boxes.
Yeah, it always comes back to Overwatch for some reason for live service games. Either way, Marvel Rivals is killing Overwatch, and thank God because Marvel Rivals is a great game. They're doing a great job. They're doing a good job with monetization and all that wonderful thing.
But then you also have like the live action, not the live action, the live service like shooter that's not like an arena shooter, like the Overwatch wannabe, or not the Overwatch wannabe. We just talked about the Destiny wannabe. Like Destiny is the best Destiny like game there is, and Destiny is freaking terrible. They haven't like that's just a genre that's just not.
They were good it's good until they need money, then until they want more money, and then it becomes bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Destiny 1 was all right, but then Destiny 2 wasn't very good, and nothing's like people keep trying to make these games.
Well, I mean, when you and I played Destiny for that short amount of times in our lives, I was having fun, and then it got to a point where I think everybody was just, I mean, everybody at least out of us three that were playing were kind of like, okay, we're done now. This is enough.
Well, there's like 3 quests in all of Destiny, and like, Well, there's three kinds of quests. Like basically, there's tons of quests, but they all boil down to like one of three things. So it's
Yeah.
really really boring. The shooting is nice because it's by Bungie and their shooting is really clean, but
Other than that,
it's
I mean,
really boring.
I'm not a Destiny expert. All I know is I've played the game and I didn't think it was fun. That is my expert analysis.
I agree. It's just,
I don't know
it's
the
a slog.
lore. I don't know basically anything about the game except I played it. The shooting was fun until I was just bored of the game overall, and then I stopped playing, and then
Mhm.
I have never played it again.
Yep. Yeah, I dropped that like a bad habit. I haven't been back.
Yeah,
Don't plan on going back.
bad habits are hard to get back. Hard to get rid of.
Well, here's a bit of good news. Hopefully, maybe Horizon Zero Dawn film confirmed. So I mean, like, I love Horizon. It's a great idea for a franchise. I really hope the movie will be good. I don't see it being a low budget film. I feel like this movie would have to be
It would have
pretty
to be
high budget,
very high budget.
to like
This is
remotely work.
they're gonna have to be very high budget, like Avatar level budget. You pretty much need to rebuild the Avatar world to make it like look good. Who knows how they'll do it, but I'm glad they are pushing forward with because they didn't give up. They still want to make a Horizon, movie, TV, whatever they want to do. Because they did make one. It got canceled for creative differences or something like that. I think was the reason. And Sony clearly has not given up that they still want to turn this into something else. Which is cool because I'm a huge Horizon fan. I'm a huge Horizon fan. I love Horizon, so
Yeah, I love
any
it.
Horizon you can give me, I'll give you more. Also, side note, in this same article, it's not. I didn't bring that up. I should have actually brought this up when we were talking about Starship Troopers.
Which will
Sony
be out
also
next week.
yeah, it's spoiler, I guess. Sony also announced that they're making Helldivers film movie. They're making a movie about that.
Oh, so it'll be
So-
Starship. So it'll be Starship
It could be
Troopers.
just more Starship
2.
Troopers because that's basically what Helldivers 2 is. So like, we're tying it in, and they're also making a anime for Ghost of Tsushima, which is also one of my favorite games of all time. So all around, Sony just like I agree. Yep, all good. I have no problem. Horizon movie, yes, please. Helldivers 2 movie, yes, please. Anime series for Ghost of Tsushima, yes, please.
Canceled live service God of War. Yes,
Yeah,
please. I don't know why
live
that was greenlit in the first place, but at least it
I
was a
don't
good
either.
decision that you canceled it. Thank you.
Yeah, and we don't have I don't have any article or post or anything about this either, but I also know that Sony also donated money to the fires in California. So I think for out of the big three, Sony wins this week of like that's the good company this week. So, they all suck, but like in terms of, ranking on a week to week basis, Sony's number one this week.
On a week to week basis, Sony's done a couple of things right. So thank you, Sony, for.
Thank you, Sony. We appreciate your
Thank you,
kindness.
Sony, for sucking the least this week.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. But I mean, these are some cool announcements. I think it's cool that they decided like, hey, bad idea for God of War. We're gonna make a Horizon movie. I think that cool stuff. Cool stuff. Good job, Sony. Good job. I'm happy for you. You have good PR this week.
Good job. Good job. So I
You're
think
welcome. You're the source.
I think next week or the week after, there's supposed to be like a Microsoft event for upcoming Microsoft games. So maybe we'll get some news on Avowed because Avowed has been like radio silent for like 2 or 3.
Well, it's because they
months,
had
I
that
think.
trouble with the director. There's some trouble with
Have
the
they
director.
have they been spanking him for?
Well, he was. I mean, yeah. We'll get into it if they talk about Avowed, but the gist of it was like he was like mega against white people, and he is a white person, and he was like actively not hiring white people even though they were qualified. He would only hire, people of other races because whatever reasons, and he wanted to like do the whole like modern audience thing to the game, and I don't know all the information. All I know is like he was stupid enough to say stuff online, and he opened himself up to getting sued and potentially getting fired, and I don't know whatever happened with any of that. But well, if they talk about Avowed, I will be your source to understand what happened.
All right. Well, thank you for taking that upon yourself, Brian. That sounds.
You're welcome,
sounds-
David.
Sounds like a plan.
We can talk trash together next time about
Trash.
Microsoft. I can't imagine anything Microsoft's going to show where we're going to be like, damn, good job, Microsoft.
It's like well, see, yeah, well,
It's like, burn me once, or what's the saying? It's like, burn me once, my fault. Burn me twice, my fault. Or 30 times,
no, it's
not me,
it's like fool me once,
yeah, that's fool me
shame on
once.
me, fool me twice. No, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever,
Yeah,
whatever it is. I feel like I've been fooled 47 times in a row by Microsoft, and I no longer trust anything they are going to do. I don't believe them. I don't like any of their games. Everything they're doing, I think, is stupid. And I think Phil Spencer's a cool guy, but I think he's a bad leader at this point. Same thing with Todd Howard. He always sucked, though. I'll go to the grave with that.
The thing is, for me, is like ever since the Xbox was announced, I'm like, this is a bad idea.
Well, I mean, they were fine. I mean,
No,
it wasn't up
garbage.
until like the past
I've never
5 years.
I've never liked Microsoft. Never liked Microsoft. They always just threw their money around. They bought exclusives back when the first Xbox came out, kept them away from Sony, and now they're buying complete studios. And now they're not even selling any they don't want to sell consoles anymore. They're just trying to sell Game Pass, which is going to bankrupt. It's going to bankrupt them in the long term because it's not.
No, this is totally like, towards the end of the video and everything. But a killer video that somebody should make is just documenting exactly like what happened with Microsoft and like Xbox, just to show like how like crappy of what they've done. Because I don't think people realize when you see like Microsoft is like not coming out with games or whatever, that you can say that is a criticism, and then you look at like how many studios they've bought over the past 5 years or whatever, and how many have come out with games and how many of them have been canceled. I think it would really shock people is like how like inefficient Xbox is at this point, or how terrible they are at this point.
It is insane.
It seems like it's just blatantly like they're just trying to like do whatever they can to just get as much control and make as much money with delivering the absolute worst product.
Yeah, it is just absolutely
make the whole Xbox division like a tax write-off or something. I don't know how any of it works, but like if somebody should make a video about all their injustices, and I think if the video was well done enough, it would make Xbox sue you.
Maybe, could be. I just don't understand. I never understood like the Microsoft fanboy, because I'm like, what are they doing good? I mean, sure, it's good for you as a consumer.
Here's a one.
It's $15 or however much Game Pass is, and you get all these games you can play. But I don't know. The long term economic feasibility for the video game, because video games are more and more expensive, and you're not even paying.
I think video games cost too much.
Yeah, it depends on the game. Yeah, I'm sure, but
then yeah, lower the prices of them. Anyway, that's our video games. David, we talked about video games, or video game news. I guess we didn't talk about specific video games really necessarily, but
just things in the video game sphere. Yes,
in the industry, in the video game industry.
Well, we did talk about Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
That is true.
That is the full name of the game.
That is true. Good job.
Can't wait.
Oh man. Well, email David at alex@yahoo.com and tell him your favorite video game. And I want a list of like 100. Like, give me your 100 top games. Like, I don't want just one. Give me like 100.
So I'll just read them out. Oh, okay. Oh, Brian will read them out. Sounds good. I'll send them to Brian once you've sent them to me. So that'll work out fantastically. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, Sidaholics out.
Bye.